Billy, I'm watching Hard Knocks Detroit Lions, and I'm thinking about
Yeah.
you because I'm watching Dan Campbell, and I'm thinking this is a guy who probably hasn't changed much since his college days.
Not at
Just how
all.
blunt he is and the way he speaks to his team. I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing, being as close as you are to Dan Campbell.
I've enjoyed watching it. I've loved watching it. We've been making fun of him, me and our other roommates, and Leckler being one of them. We give him the hardest time. But no, that's exactly who he is. I have my guys at work say, you could tell you guys are friends. At that last scene when he's walking around practice, nicknaming everybody, they go, you guys have the same cadence. I had a girlfriend of mine up in Dallas message me saying, hey, has anyone ever said that you remind them of the Lions coach? And I started laughing. I said, it's my roommate for like 3 years in college. And she said, are you serious? I said, yeah. I go, I never mentioned that to you. She was like, no, I've been watching that show. And she'd been telling her roommate or whatever that reminds me of Billy. They talk the same. They sound, and I'm like, the guy, he's genuine. And that's why I think everybody's rooting for him unless you just hate the Lions for some reason. But it's why as players, I told somebody the other day, I said, watch the first episode and then the last one where he's having to cut the guys, and watch the first one because you have to hear him come out quoting Metallica and whatnot. But I'm telling you, man, I could tell stories all day, but this whole Metallica thing, it cracks me up because I skipped a Metallica concert with him one time, and I skipped it and I never heard the end of it. And Leckler went, and Dan was talking about how great it was, and Leckler standing behind him doing this. Well, I told Dan about that. And about 20 years later, like a couple of years ago, we're in Cabo and we're at dinner having a few, we've had a few tequilas, and Dan ends up deciding to bring up, because I was someone that worked at Texags. Her dad managed Metallica, so it was an awesome deal. I had to get to have dinner with them. And I said, hey, Dan, I had dinner with Metallica. He's like, what?
Of course.
And then Leckler goes, I did too. I was with Robert Gallery, Oakland, and we had dinner with Hetfield. And Dan says, oh, yeah, did you tell him how bad you thought his concert sucked? And it literally turns into a real fight. He's like, you guys are so soft. If Hetfield knew how you really were, and it became an actual thing where Dan was just blasting Shane about Metallica. He said, why don't you tell him how much better you like Kenny Chesney's concert? That was like the whole dinner just went off the rails. And that was literally 20 years after the fact. And I just told him, yeah, Shane hated that concert. So it's pretty. And so when he comes out in the show quoting Metallica, our text messages just start blowing up.